Hello, guys. It's me, Greed here. Listen, I think it's important that I stay truthful, honest, and consistent, and I hold myself to that standard. So, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna admit it, I was wrong about the perk system. I was wrong. It's actually really good. It's super good, in fact. And not only is it super good, it's well implemented and it's well balanced. Really well. Really good, in fact. So, let me get a couple of examples of what I mean, because a lot of people are going to be confused because they're like, you just were talking shit about this, you didn't like it, and all of a sudden you like it. So I'll explain why I like it, because it's so good. Anyway, for example, let's look at Tracer's perks. You got the option between Blast from the Past, which is Pulse Bomb's radius is increased by 50%, or Blink Packs. Health Packs restore 1 Blink charge. I think this is really well implemented because, essentially, let's say you're not a very good Tracer player and you're playing Tracer. Now, no longer are you going to get skill gapped because you don't know how to manage your blinks. Just grab a health pack. You know what I'm saying? Just grab a health pack and there you go. Now you don't need to manage your blinks as well anymore. You can just, there you go. And that's something you don't need to consider anymore as a Tracer player. And maybe if you're a really good Tracer player, you could pick Blast from the Past, maybe get a bigger Pulse Bomb, because that's so useful and so good, and it's useful. Anyway, she got major perks too. Flashback, Recall restores all blink charges, or Quantum Entanglement. Recall grants 50 overhealth and decays over time. I think both of these are super great because, again, if you're a new Tracer player, right, you never played Tracer before, you're not a big Tracer player, then, you know, Flashback, get all your blink charges back when you recall. I mean, that's really good for the game. That's healthy for the game, because what it does is it allows a player who, like I said, might not be a Tracer player to pick Tracer. And, you know, before, Tracer had this big issue where she had to manage her blink charges and, like, think about how she used them and, you know, use them properly and well and effectively, you know, to get as much value out of them as possible. But now, if you're not on that level, you know, yet you haven't been training as a Tracer player for a long time, you know, you're new to playing Tracer, then I don't think it's fair that you should need to have that skill. Just pick that perk, get all your blinks back if you need them, you know. And I think that makes the game way more competitive, much healthier, and it's great. And for example, let's say you're a good Tracer player and you can manage those blinks, then you get 50 overhealth, you know? 50 overhealth. And listen, people are going to say it's inconsistent and it's not implemented well because of the lack of readability. Those are just doomers, obviously. They're obviously just idiots. And 50 overhealth when you recall is obviously really balanced, because if you don't need help managing your blink charges, well, then you got 50 extra overhealth for the 1v1 that you're in. You know what I'm saying? So that's really good. That's balanced. But of course, there's some other ones. You know, let's zoom out here. I've actually got the diagram here. So let's have a look at some other ones. Here we go. Genji's got some really, really good ones. Let's have a look at Genji's, shall we? Here we go. Minor perks. Acrobatics. Swift Strike resets double jump. Now, I want to talk about this one. And Dragon's Thirst. Dragon Blade Swings grant 30% lifesteal. Really difficult choice here, and I like that with the perks. There's never really one where you're like, ooh, do I really need that one? Or, oh, this is a mix-up. It's hard to choose between either of these, and a lot of the perks are like that, and it's really good that they're like that. It's also really good that they're like that because it makes the game even less consistent, which is really good, because I hate consistency in my competitive FPS game that's extremely fast-paced. I hate that. I like it when it's inconsistent. So, lack of consistency, which is good. But also, I mean, like, Swift Strike resets double jump, that's a little bit overpowered, I'm not gonna lie. As a Genji player, that is OP. I mean, like, think about how many scenarios where you needed double jump after you dash and didn't have it. It's probably, like, at least 3, 4, maybe, which is really good. And then, obviously, Dragon Blade Swings grant 30% lifesteal. See, this one is, this one's terrible. This is a terrible perk. You should never pick it. I mean, like, if you ever press Q anyway, you just kind of die. You kind of just... Genji's got this weird bug right now where when you press Q, you just fall over and die, and you go back to the spawn room. It's bizarre. So you definitely want acrobatics. Swift Strike resets double jump. You definitely want that. That's about on par with Tracer's perks, actually, which is really good because that means they're really well balanced. There's a great balance between all the perks. It's really, really nice, actually. Because, for example, if some heroes had stronger perks than other heroes, then, well, that wouldn't be fair, right? That wouldn't be fair. They're all meant to have equal perks. And another thing is, even if they have equal perks, they're all equal as well. Like, Genji's definitely strong as Tracer, and Genji's definitely strong as Sojourn, and, you know, Lucio's definitely strong as Ana, you know what I'm saying? So, it's good that all the heroes are balanced well, and all the perks are balanced well too. But let's talk about his major perks now. Here we go. Blade Twisting. Swift Strike deals an additional 25 damage over time when used shortly after an elimination. Now, if you... well, we'll talk about the other. In Meditation, regenerate 25 health per second while Deflect is active. Again, two game-breakingly broken perks that are extremely OP. Genji absolutely just got so good perks this patch. They are so good. See, it's good because... how many times are you in a situation with Genji where you're in a duel, you're in a 1v1, you get low HP, and you're going, oh, I really wish I could heal right now, and then you pop Deflect, and just like, because when you use Deflect, the best way to use it is to press it and never cancel it, just hold it until it runs out. That's always the best way to do it, and because that's the best way to do it, with this perk, you get even more benefit of getting healed. I mean, think about it, Deflect has 2 seconds, why wouldn't you use the full 2 seconds, right? You would have to be some kind of noob to ever want to cancel Deflect, and also... so that one's really good. But also we have Blade Twisting. 25 additional damage? I mean, say what? I mean, come on, that's crazy. I mean, think about it. Like, if you dash on someone for 50, then you get the extra 25, that's 75. You're probably changing a whole breakpoint. You probably don't even need to... no, you probably still do need... actually, it doesn't change anything. But imagine an enemy has already taken a little bit of damage, then you do this, and they don't receive any healing at all, then that's super good. And it's especially good because it's as strong as Tracer's perks. Anyway, let's look at some of the support perks, shall we? Now, a lot of the supports got shafted. They got absolutely shafted this patch in terms of perks. All their perks are pretty terrible. Let's look at Ana, for example. Groggy or Biotic Bounce, I mean, both ass. Enemies waking up from sleep dart are slowed for 2 seconds. I mean, like, whenever I sleep someone, I kill them. So, like, that's useless. That's completely useless. Every time I've ever slept anyone, I've never needed them to be CC'd even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, sleep is already such a disgustingly overpowered CC that 2 extra seconds of CC is like, I don't even need it. So it's terrible. You know what I'm saying? So that's really bad. Biotic Bounce. After exploding, Biotic Grenade bounces and explodes again for 50 damage and healing. Again, this is awful. Biotic Grenade is one of the worst abilities in the game, so you would think buffing it would make a lot of sense, make it even better, and make it usable, in fact, but it's actually not a good option, and that's because it's so bad that no matter how many perks you tie to it, it could never be good. And it's also one of those things as well that's really good, because, for example, let's say you're in a 1v1 with a Genji. Big problem with Ana before is when you were getting 1v1 by a Genji, you could never kill him. I mean, you could never kill a Genji in the 1v1 with Ana. It just wasn't possible. With, like, nade and sleep and all that stuff, it just wasn't effective. Now instead, all you have to do is throw your nade at, like, the bottom of a wall, and it will double explode, and you'll deal 125 damage or something, or whatever it is. That's pretty good. And then you just left-click melee them, and they usually die, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So there's that. So that really helps the 1v1. If someone's just like not good enough in the 1v1, I don't think you should need to be good at the game and use your cooldowns effectively. That's anti-inclusion. That leaves people out and it's unfair. So it makes sense that you have a perk that makes it so you're guaranteed to win a 1v1 with any squishy in the game as an Ana. Because I know what it's like to play Ana and get dove. That's really unfair. The dive characters are unfair and overpowered and way too strong, and they don't require any skill whatsoever. So it makes complete sense that the already undiveable hero gets more anti-dive on top of it because the dive heroes are so OP. So I love that perk. Major perks. Here we go. Major perk, Headhunter, Biotic Rifle can crit enemies, useless, or Shriek, I don't know how to say it. Using Nano Boost also casts it on Ana. See, a lot of people were molding and thought these perks were really good. First of all, the Headshot one, it's 1.5x multiplier. I mean, that's only 50% more damage. That's only an additional 35 damage, or whatever it is. 37.5 damage, or whatever it is, right? So, you know, it's one of those things where what in the grand scheme of things, does it add up? Yes. Is it too much damage? Yes. Is it too strong? No. And that's because Anna's a really bad hero, so she needs that. But anyway, that's not even the worst of them. Shrike is significantly worse than Headhunter in every way. And you should definitely always take Headhunter and never this other perk. Because this other perk is just so bad. It's so bad. Because Nano's so useless, where basically instead of getting 1 nano now, you actually get 2, and it's like you would think that would probably make it useful, but it doesn't, because then when you nano your tank and he becomes, well, you would think unkillable because that's what people say, but they don't actually, because nano's so bad. Instead, what happens is that person gets nano and you get nano, and it's like that's just to help you keep alive during the dive. So if for example, like a Genji dives you and he's killing you, now if you still can't kill him with your double nade because it's such a terrible cooldown and perk now, it's so terrible and bad that it would make sense that you wouldn't be able to kill him. Now you can nano someone in your team to nano yourself as well, to make yourself less diveable again, because those dive heroes are so overpowered and strong and unfair, and they're not good for the game at all. So it makes complete sense. So the Anna's perks are absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love those. They're good. They should probably get buffed though. They're probably really weak. Let's look at some tank perks now. We haven't done any justice to the tank hero, so I think got ridiculously broken perks, and they're super broken and busted and unfair and broken and unfair because they're broken. So let's have a look at like Reinhardt's perks, shall we? Here we go. Minor perk, Crusader's Resolve, or Fiery Uptake. Good names. Crusader Resolve, while using Barrier Field, your passive health regeneration triggers 50% sooner. I mean, say what? Newsflash, pal. That's broken, Blizzard. That's broken. That's super OP, because now instead of 4 seconds of your heal proccing, it's 2. That's 2 less seconds than before. And the passive healing is really strong and really good, especially for a tank hero. You know, like, am I just more healing on a tank hero? Like, am I right? It's just like, especially Reinhardt is just like really OP right now. That's really broken. And then Fiery Uptake, Barrier Field is healed for 100% of Fire Strike's damage dealt. It's good because if your shield is low and they stand in a conga line and you throw your 2 Fire Strikes through it, that's like 1,000 shield right there. That's really good. I mean, think about how many opportunities you've had to throw Fire Strike down and hit 5 players. Happens all the time. It's probably like every Fire Strike, I think it happens, probably every Fire Strike. So your shield just never ever runs out on Reinhardt ever, because they definitely aren't running like Torb, who's, by the way, Torb's awful this patch. He's super bad with his level 3 turret. That thing is really bad. That thing is so bad. And he's also got 400 health, by the way. He's terrible. Anyway, major perk for Reinhardt, while Barrier Field is active, use left click to damage and knock back your enemies. It's good because Reinhardt's a sniper character, where basically you want people to be really far away from you all the time, so it makes sense that he's got a perk to push people far away from him with his sniper hammer, because he snipes people with his hammer, and his hammer's really big, so when he boops them away, it's good for him because he can definitely hit them with his sniper hammer. So that's good. And then we got Crushing Victory. Charge damage grants temporary overhealth for 50% of damage dealt. I mean, this is just a terrible perk. This is awful. It's just so bad. Because why would you ever want to pin someone and get their overhealth? Get the overhealth, you know what I'm saying? Like, you pin like a tank or something, you get 300 damage, has 150 overhealth. You pin a squishy, you get a kill in like 125 overhealth. I mean, that is terrible. That is really bad. But it's okay that it's really bad, because it's balanced out by his other perks being so good. I mean, these perks are so good. What I can't believe you would ever believe these perks weren't super OP. Anyway, let's look at some other perks, shall we? Let's look at one more person's perk. I don't know. Let's not like cherry pick anything. We wouldn't want to do that. It'd be unfair. Let's look at Sojourn. Let's not do any cherry picking. Here we go. Minor perk. Extended mag. Maximum ammo increased by 15. Okay, that's a perk for sure. Overcharge. Now, you definitely never want to pick this one, because the other one is of equal value and is just as good as this one for sure. Railgun's maximum energy is increased by 50 while overclock is active, essentially meaning you can one-tap 250 HP targets, or with damage boost you can one-tap 300 HP targets, which is just useless, because if you don't have like aimbot level aim, you could never hit a railgun, because it doesn't get bigger the more energy you have, which means at 150 charge it's not bigger than it is at 100, so it's not easier to hit people with 150 charge. By the way, that also one taps people. It's definitely not easier to do that than it is, like, for example, it's easier to shoot like Genji's projectiles are easier to hit than Sojourn's railgun. So it makes sense that they buff the railgun a little bit, but it's, you know, in case you don't have any hands or eyeballs, then this perk is for you, of course. Now you can one-tap 300 HP targets with the damage resist. Cool, and then extended mag, 15 ammo. I mean, you definitely want that 15 extra bullets. I mean, now you can roleplay as, like, someone playing Armor Reforger, sitting in a bush and, like, shooting their PKM at the road. So, yeah, between those two perks, there's a lot of choice there. I like how much choice there is there. It's a difficult decision to make between these two perks, because they're equally strong, which is really good. And it's on a hero that's really bad too. So the perks being bad and on a bad hero kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Then we got the major perks. Here we go. Dual thrusters. Power slide gains an additional charge, and its jump height shifts to lateral movement. Now, Sojourn didn't already have enough mobility, so it's good that they're giving her more, because she obviously doesn't already have enough mobility. So that's super good that she got more. I'm really happy about that. And then Adhesive Siphon. Disruptor Shot can stick to enemies and generates railgun energy when dealing damage. This one, again, really bad, because why would you ever want more railgun charge if you pick the extra 15 bullets? You'd be wasting time. So instead of shooting your railgun, you could be shooting your extra 15 bullets. So I don't really think it's worth it charging up the railgun faster and more effectively and easier, while also dealing tick damage to everyone. That makes it even easier to one-tap them. I think that would be pointless, because you'd be too busy shooting your 15 extra bullets, because of how OP those extra bullets are, which is really good. So anyway, I love the perk system. I love that it's inconsistent in my hyper competitive, extremely fast-paced video game with a lot of decision making. I like that it's super inconsistent, and the readability of the heroes was removed. I like that, because it keeps the game so fresh and good. And I also like how all of the really bad heroes got really bad perks, and I like that the really good heroes got really good perks. Like Genji got really OP perks, and Sojourn got terrible perks. I think that makes the game much better. So yeah, readability is improved. Perks are well balanced. They're well distributed between all the heroes, really good. So far, the perk system is an absolute win. And I'd love for someone to disagree with me. Tell me what's wrong with the perk system, other than, it gives you everything you want. It gives you inconsistency. It gives you really well balanced perks. It gives you a lot of good gameplay changes and fundamental core design changes to some of the heroes, like Pharah's perks, which are really good, and increases the inconsistency even more, which is really, really good. And then also, it's just brilliant. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Anyway, have a good day, guys. Hope you all have a really, really good day. I love Overwatch, and I love the perk system. Have a good day, guys. I'm sure in 3 months' time, everyone is going to really love it like I do. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Have a good day. Goodbye.